There we go. And welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Counter Attack. And we've recorded this episode, or we're recording this episode, the day after both of the semi-finals were completed. So England versus Italy is the final for the European Championships 2020, played in 2021. And I had the pleasure of going to watch the European Championships at Wembley this summer as well, watching Italy versus Spain again with my cousin Adil, who's joined the podcast today. Adil, thanks for coming on the podcast. How have you been
Um,
since we saw each other on Tuesday? How was it for you?
I was knackered yesterday.
I'm exhausted as well. I'm
I
literally
thought,
broken.
but I didn't really have much sleep Tuesday, well, Wednesday morning
It's just ridiculous.
after
The
we got
clocks.
back.
Yeah, we came back at some long time. Waiting around London was amazing, but it was just the fact that we were just there, like, there we got to do it all over again for the England game. We didn't go to the England game, but we just had to
Yeah,
like obviously mentally prepare for the England game. But England got to the final, and I'm just there like just tired, exhausted. Just there, like everyone else around me, like, yes, we're in the final. Come on, the flat area that I'm in, the city centre that I'm in, they're all buzzing, they're all shouting. I'm just there, like, oh,
yeah,
it's fine, it's fine.
we're
My
in the
eyes are still
final.
baggy. I'm still exhausted, still tired, but it is what it is. It was a good experience for both those semi-finals, both good games, and let's just start with the review of the semi-final for Italy versus Spain. So originally, I wanted Spain to win, so I went in the ground hoping that Spain could cause an upset because I feel like this Italy side is far too dominant for the European Championships, and Roberto Mancini has really pulled a rabbit out of the hat with his team. I
Yeah,
really believe that he's actually the superstar of his team. We've had a football agent, Marco, on previously. He talked about the brilliance of this Italian side, and
yeah.
he was right. And the fact that Roberto Mancini is the superstar, and all of these players are very good players, and they've got him to a final, and it's building for the World Cup in a year and a half's time as well. But they really could get a trophy in this tournament as well. But again, we were at the games together. We watched the game, but we did see some weaknesses in that Italian side. Adil, what did you kind of find were the main strengths, however, for that Italian side once you watch them against Spain?
Strengths would be the two centre backs. The defensively, they're like monsters. The two warhorses of Italian football. What else would I say? I'd say the midfield was pretty good. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, first half they played, I think, how Mancini wanted. They played his tactics to a T, where they said, "We'll drop deep. You have the ball. You see what you can do against us, and we play on the counter."
And that's what they did. I mean,
And
for their
we,
defenders as well,
yeah,
the Chiellini and Bonucci, they faced the taste that they had. They faced the test that they hadn't faced before when
yeah,
Danny Olmo was playing in that false nine and he was trying to
yeah.
bring them both out of
Yeah.
the play because they were both
I think,
isolated when he wasn't going against them. When he was coming back into midfield, that's where Spain dominated in possession, and
I
that's
think
where I thought that we could get at. England can get at Italy like that as well.
they dealt with him quite adequately. I think until Morata came on, because
Hmm.
when Morata came on, he turned the game on its head. They couldn't really deal with his runs, his when he was getting between them
Yeah, exactly.
and pushing
And
them back.
Morata was giving them a different test that they were used to for the 60 odd minutes or so that he wasn't on the pitch. And Morata, obviously, is a Juventus player, so has trained with Chiellini and Bonucci, like we were saying in the ground at the time as well. That if
Yeah,
anyone on that Spain team can test these two, it was Alvaro Morata. And he
yeah.
did. He got between the lines a few times. He made some good decisions, some bad decisions, but in the end, he ended up scoring that goal to equalise for them. So that's kind of how I can see England kind of getting past Bonucci and Chiellini. They have conceded a few goals in this tournament, but they were never going to keep as many clean sheets as we thought they did with the way that they kind of defended.
I think
Um, Emerson is someone I
anything.
think you can get at as well, the left back. He was brilliant going forward, but again, Osriabal was easily dribbling against him and going inside and outside of him as well.
Yeah, but anything you put in the box, in the air, or along the ground, those two are going to gobble up,
Mm.
and you're not going to get any chances against it.
I don't
Because
see it. I don't
every
see
time
anyone beating
Spain,
them in the air,
every
really.
time Spain tried that, they would get nothing. They only got something when the ball was played on the ground
Like that Busquets
and
chance in the second half as
running
well,
against them. Yeah, yeah,
edge of the box. And like we said, if it was anyone else but Busquets, that may have just gone in and it may have ended up being 1-1 at the time or 1-0 at the time, I think it was as well. But
yeah.
more onto the positive side of things for Italy at the moment. Chiesa's in fire and form.
Yeah,
He's amazing. He's in his
that's
purple patch.
that's the other thing I wanted to say. We talked
Mm,
about them defensively, but attacking wise, you got two wide players who can break in an instant. You got Kaiser, who we got to see life. He just eats up the ground when he dribbles with the ball. And you got Insigne on the other side, who's equally as fast. And he's got a wonderful right foot.
Insigne is the one at the kind of end of his career. He's coming to his mid-30s. He's coming to kind of being challenged by the likes of Bernardeschi, Berardi, Chiesa, of course, as well.
Yeah.
But Chiesa was the one that started on the right-hand side. And it was basically from the left-hand side where he scored that curling shot in, which was amazing. And we had a good view of that as well. It was a fantastic goal. The crowd went mad. And it was just fantastic to see how Italy really broke on the counter. So if that's going to be their tactic, again, for the final against an England side, I'm going to try and say, for me, I'd want to go for a back five. I want to have 3 at the back and 2 wing backs, making sure that Immobile, Chiesa, and Insigne, if they do all score,
I think Sunday's game will be decided on who controls midfield.
If it's in a midfield battle, that's going to be a difficult one because they've got.
Will it be the 3 of Italy, or will it be, I don't know, who Southgate goes and puts in there?
He's going to go with his trusted 3, I think. He's going to go with Phillips, Rice, and Mount. If he goes for a 3, if he goes for that, I think the Italians have the edge with the 3 they have in midfield. Unless he goes for a 2, a Rice and a Phillips, and he goes for that back 5, and Saka, Sterling, and Kane will start as well. It's gonna be mad to see how it actually goes as well. But just going on to the Italian extra time when they brought on all of those changes as well, when they changed the game a bit for them. When we were seeing them tire out a bit, we were seeing them do a bit more. They were getting a bit more leggy from what I could see, and I hadn't seen that in an Italian side this tournament. I know they've been to extra time against Austria, and they played against Belgium in a tricky game as well, but I hadn't seen them as leggy as I thought I did. And Spain really did a number on them possession-wise, but obviously went to penalties, and Donnarumma, as we saw, just clearly just won the battle of the keepers, and Olmo missed, Morata missed, and that was it really. But it's just
I said to you when the penalties started, Donnarumma will be a beast.
And he was. It was worth the money going to the game. It was worth going for it as well, which is great. But from what I'm seeing from this team as well, the fact that the average position of these players as well, they just like to be in around the middle of the pitch. You don't really see them as wide as we like to see, but I think that's probably to Italy's advantage as well, because the only time we really saw the players wide was on the counter attack, when you saw Insigne on the touchline, Chiesa coming in from the touchline and drifting in as well, and Immobile was driving the defenders forward and back for them as well. And it was quite good. I was quite happy to see how we can kind of suppress this Italian attack, and I really believe that we can suppress this Italian attack. But yeah, I really think Italy have been the best team in this tournament so far. I know I'm an England fan, but looking at the games that we've seen, they've been brilliant. They've been fantastic to watch, and I really believe that this is something that will really come down to, like you said, a battle of the midfield, how we set up against them, and the battle of Mancini versus Gareth Southgate. And on paper, Italy have the stronger team. That's how I see it personally, because I don't want to be that guy that goes into that English mentality of, oh yeah, we're amazing, we've done this, and this. Italy are the strongest team that we have faced in this tournament, stronger than Germany, Ukraine, Denmark, Croatia as well, Scotland and Czech Republic.
I think Italy have been the standout team,
because they're beating some big teams, Spain, Belgium. That Turkey team as well was pretty good as well. I know they ruined them, but they were a decent side as well, that Turkey side. And then it's just about how Italy kind of move forward as well. They got no real changes. It's just obviously Spinazzola's not going to be playing. So it's going to be Emerson at left back, and like I said, I think that's where we need Saka against him or Sancho against him. Really, someone to rather push him back and really test him. Yeah, really run at him.
Not to let him get forward, because he's another one that provides an outlet when they come forward.
He nearly scored as well. I think he hit the crossbar when the keeper, when he attacked through the left-hand side, and that's what Verratti and Jorginho can do. They can just spray a pass and just sit back whilst letting the fullbacks go forward, and that's what they did. And it was great to see how Italy really played firsthand, and it was a joy to watch Italy as well against the Spanish side. And for Spain as well, consolations for them, commiserations for them. But they have a bright future ahead of them. I was really happy with Pedri. Pedri is a fun player to watch. I said it all game, and I was like, for an 18-year-old to be doing that in one of the biggest games of his career was fantastic. Just dictating the play, playing the game well. And for the first time, well, not for the first, second or third time I've seen Sergio Busquets live. And every time I watch him live, he always just if you don't like Sergio Busquets as a footballer, you don't know what he brings to a football team. You don't really know much about football because you could say, "Oh yeah, he's crap. He doesn't do this. He's slow. He's not really
I
good
think
at anything." But he's a
you could
very, very delicate footballer who
you
really
could
dictates
see
the game.
what Spain missed when he was out the first 1 or 2 games
Hmm.
with COVID.
He
He
was
just keeps
brilliant.
the ball ticking for them. He goes. It doesn't matter if he goes backwards, sideways, forwards.
Is
He
the
just
heartbeat
always
of that
keeps.
team for me.
Yeah,
Sergio Busquets is the one that literally just kept it going. I know he's got his theatrics, his diving, and all of that jazz, which he does, and I hate that personally. But as a footballer, when you see him on the pitch, it's quality. How he's
yeah.
just done that for a number of years and kept it going for Barcelona as well, and it's great to see how he was doing that with such a young team around him, and really just seeing how they're going to build for the future. Olmo, young talent, Oyazarabal, I can't pronounce his name for the life of me. Young talent as well. Pedri, like I said, Laporte's in that team as well, and he was really good. Garcia will be getting some game time now
Garcia.
for Barcelona as well. So it's going to be quite good to see how they actually do and actually move forward going forward to that World Cup. But Spain can hold their hands up high. They had a really good tournament. Everyone wrote them off at the start of the tournament, including me. I didn't really think they'd be doing very well. Obviously, they didn't win it, but they've done a lot better than some of these other teams. And they won on penalty shootouts against the Swiss as well. So it shows some character to go forward. And well, last thing about Spain is Alvaro Morata. What's going to happen with him? Because everyone and their mum in Spain just hates him for what he's done. But I really thought this was a time where he could actually prove all of the doubters wrong in Spain and around the world of scoring that equalising goal and hopefully getting that penalty. But you missed that penalty, and he's been labelled the villain in the media at the moment in Spain, and his
I'm like,
kids are getting death threats and all of that. But it would have been nice to see him just have a bit of redemption, at least a bit of redemption right there.
you wouldn't really put it on Morata. He dragged them back into the game. They weren't
Yeah,
really
you
in
were
it
saying
until
that.
he came on. Once he
Yeah.
came on, the game turned on its head. And we even had some Italians sat behind us and to the left behind us. They were saying as well, when Morata came on, the game changed.
And the Spanish contingency around us as well, they were all happy that Morata scored and his confidence went up, and that celebration was very passionate as well. I celebrate like mad when Morata scored. I was like, we're going to get some extra time gameplay. We may even get penalties, and we got penalties. That's what it was. It was just the fact that Italy ended up winning on penalties, and they're through to the final. Right then, the England versus Denmark one, probably the least excited I'd ever been about a semi-final, due to the fact that I was just exhausted from the night before of going to that other semi-final. We're just there, exhausted, had to go to work the next day, and everything was crazy. We're just there, like, tired, doing some stupid England versus Denmark game. And I hate UEFA for this so much. You know why it's stupid. You saw the group chat afterwards. Why am I angry at UEFA, Adam? Why didn't you tell the listeners what was so stupid about what UEFA did?
Ticket prices.
Ticket prices.
Where they seated people who paid
600, 700 euros.
Crazy amount of money
for ticket prices for 600, 700 euros, and the spare tickets, UEFA released them at like 5 p.m. on match day. And you're like, what the hell, man? If we were knowing that the tickets were coming back, we wouldn't have gone all the way back home, like 100 miles away to go back home. We'd have just stayed the night, booked a hotel or something, and come back the next day. But they released them just before kickoff, and you're like, this is ridiculous. This is awful one. It is what it is. We had to watch it at home, and it was a good start from England against Denmark. Denmark were really good throughout the whole tournament, but it was a good start from England. Sterling had a good chance or two. We were getting between the lines a bit, and Harry Kane and Sterling looked like they were clicking properly as well. Bukayo Saka as well, taking on Vestergaard a few different times and getting behind Mæhle as well. But that was it. And then it became a bit more difficult for Jordan Pickford. He made a couple of mistakes, short throw-ins, short kicks and everything like that.
Sorry.
It's okay. Sorry.
I think my battery's dying out on the iPad.
There we go. You got your iPad charging, and we were just beginning to mention the England versus Denmark semi-final, where again we didn't get tickets, but UEFA released them at stupid o'clock in the afternoon on the match day. So we were just there like, what are we going to do? Are we going to watch the game? We had to just watch it at our homes as well. But it was a good start from England, like we said. It was good to see the front three of Saka, Kane, and Sterling all kind of clicking together, getting past the back five of Denmark as well. We're not really letting the wing backs, Strigger Larsen and Mæhle, kind of press on and really just keep giving it to them. Again, Pickford made a couple of mistakes. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself if it did or did not record, but that's how it is. And then it came to that free kick with Damsgaard, and Damsgaard scored the first free kick of the Euro 2020 tournament. And what a free kick it was. What a time to score a free kick. And it was amazing because when you look back at it now, it was an amazing free kick is the way it was hit. I know Gary Neville for ITV was complaining about Jordan Pickford's positioning and all of that, but it was a great free kick. Sometimes you just got to applaud it.
Well, you could say Pickford was kind of at fault with it because it was down the middle, but the power it was hit with would have made it a bit difficult to save as well.
The power and the dip of it as well, which was crazy.
And the swerve on it, but Pickford kind of partly was at fault for it.
Yeah.
It's down the middle of the goal. He should be having some attempt at saving that.
Because it was crazy how everyone was like, oh, Pickford this, Pickford that, after he's done so well in the Euros for us so far. But I think it's just one of those where he got tested differently. And I'm glad that we conceded because it shows how mentally resilient we were in the game. And Kane was literally like that straight, was like, come on, focus, let's go again. And we didn't sulk like we did against Croatia a couple of years ago in the World Cup. We didn't keep our heads down like we did against the Netherlands in the Nations League. We kept going, probably because it was the first half, to be fair, compared to the second half or an extra time when they were in the other games. But it was just the fact that we were looking at getting through differently with Raheem Sterling and Saka on the wings. Sterling hitting it straight at Schmeichel, and then like a minute later, Kane threaded it through to Saka. Saka then passed it through to Sterling, but Simon Kjaer ended up scoring an own goal, which brought it to 1-1. And it was good. It's a good end to the first half. I was quite happy with that performance, and it was just all down to half time as well. And then the second half was just an onslaught from England, from what I could remember and what I could see, and how we had so many half chances, and Harry Maguire having that amazing header saved by Kasper Schmeichel, which I said on our group chat was one of the saves of the tournament, probably the save of the tournament. I would say it was amazing what Kasper Schmeichel was doing as well. And it was unfortunate for Belgium a couple of weeks ago as well, when they were having a really good performance against Italy, but Donnarumma just kept them in the game, and Donnarumma just kept it out. When you have a goalkeeping performance like that, it deserves to be rewarded, but unfortunately for Kasper Schmeichel, it wasn't. As we've gone past the second half, and we had loads of chances and it just didn't go in. Jack Grealish came on, obviously, and went to extra time. And here's a quick fact for everyone listening. There's only 3 teams that have let in the first goal and gone on to win in all of the games in Euro 2020. So Belgium won after coming back from Denmark. Germany came back after conceding first to Portugal. And Spain came back against Croatia to win 5-3. And the fourth one was England. England coming back with that penalty that was maybe it was a penalty, I don't know. But I'm an English fan. I'm obviously going to say it was a penalty. But Kane had a penalty claim disallowed earlier. So I thought it just balanced each other out as well. Harry Kane was not the best of penalties that we've ever seen him score. And he scored the rebound, and it was 2-1 to England. But how were you feeling in that extra time period, Adam? Do you reckon that it was really ours to win, or do you reckon that Denmark were going to sneak one in against us, or it was going to penalties? How did you find that?
I thought it was England to win, but I thought it was too pragmatic again. I thought if they actually put the foot down, they could have scored 2 or 3, but they didn't.
Yeah, because I was looking through it and I was like thinking of little things like bringing on Rashford for Raheem Sterling, and obviously Jack Grealish got subbed after being the sub coming on.
Yeah,
and everyone was complaining.
It's like he made that sub to sit back defensively and not let them, I thought if Grealish stayed on, he could have held the ball up. He would have won a lot more free kicks, because he was winning free kicks every 2 minutes when he was on.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that got me was he brought Foden on. He had Grealish on the pitch, but he took Grealish off for Trippier. I didn't understand that. Why he took Grealish off and put Foden on.
Because there were a couple of people complaining about that, and obviously I've got friends who are Aston Villa fans, and they were complaining on our Friday Night Football group as well. And they were saying, what's the point of bringing him on to take him back off? And I kind of got what Gareth Southgate was doing. It was 2-1 up at the time, at the end of the first half of extra time. So he had 15 minutes left to just hold the lead. So he was being his normal pragmatic self. And he was bringing on one of his players that he did trust the most, Kieran Trippier. There was a rumour going around after the game that Gareth Southgate was looking after Jack Grealish because he has just come back from a long-term injury from the Premier League. But everyone's kind of like, he's in the Euros, he's playing. Why is he not playing a bit more? And that's probably one of the reasons why. that he's still coming back from an injury and is trying to look after him and trying to prolong him for the tournament and hopefully give him a game against Italy. But I'm not going to confirm or deny any of that. But that's just what I've heard over the last 24 hours since we've had the game as well. But the way I see it is the fact that we're in the final. Gareth Southgate played his tactics to a note, to a right tee.
Yeah.
And we're in the final, which is crazy. And Harry Kane's now level with Gary Lineker as the all-time leading goal scorer at the Euros and the World Cup with 10 goals as well. So it's mad to see how Harry Kane has come back into form in the knockout stage of this tournament as well. And he is our talisman that I believe is not.
I really think our best player this tournament has been Raheem Sterling, not Harry Kane.
It hasn't been Harry Kane. It's been Raheem Sterling or John Stones for me. John
so
Stones
even yesterday, it's Sterling that was driving with the ball every time he got it.
Raheem Sterling, I've loved him from the beginning of this tournament, but it's just the fact that in an England shirt, we haven't seen him do it at a major tournament. So you can kind of guess why everyone was so skeptical about him starting against Croatia after the form he had at the end of the season for Manchester City and the Champions League final performance as well. But after that first game against Croatia, he just turned my mind around just like that. I snapped my fingers for the listeners, but he just turned around just like that. And obviously, if you saw our watch along on our YouTube channel, Friday Night Counter Attack, you'd have seen how happy I was talking with my friend Danny about how Raheem Sterling was pushing against the defense, how he's doing well against in one-on-one situations. And he had like 10 take-ons yesterday against Denmark, which is one of the most in the tournament for an attacking player as well, which is crazy. And for Raheem Sterling to be doing this at Wembley all the time, I know he didn't score yesterday, but he was brilliant in terms of how he was taking on players, how he won the penalty, how he forced that own goal as well. And people who are watching Raheem Sterling now as an England fan and they don't see the benefit he has to this team, I don't know what will ever convince you of Raheem Sterling being a benefit for the team, because he had a poor Euro 2016. He had a not so great 2018 World Cup. But this tournament is Raheem Sterling's tournament for England, and he's been the man for me. And he should really get knighted if England end up winning the tournament. And like we were saying before as well, he's not the poster boy of his tournament, but he's the poster boy for England fans who know what they've seen in this tournament. The goal against the Czech Republic, the goal against Croatia, the whole Germany game, the Ukraine game, again, that assist for Harry Kane, yesterday's game. He's been the most consistent performer, along with John Stones for me in this tournament. And Kyle Walker gets a shout out as well. I know he makes a mistake or two or short passes, but he was brilliant. He was brilliant yesterday, stopping Mæhle from coming down that flank as well, kind of halting Damsgaard and I think it's Dolberg going out to the left-hand side because Braithwaite was on the right-hand side going out as well. So Kyle Walker's done very well, along with Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw and the kind of defence that they've had as well. It's brilliant. And now we get on to the fun bit. Our little mini preview for Italy versus England at Wembley, where we can't get tickets for as of yet. So if you see us getting tickets, then we're going to be very lucky. But who knows? Inshallah, we might get tickets if we don't. But it's all about if England win. How do you see Italy versus England going for yourself? Because I see it kind of being a 5-3-2 for England against the 4-3-3 of Italy. How do you see it going?
I think Southgate Mancini does with his team. You know Mancini is not going to change his team.
He doesn't need to. Unless there's injuries, he doesn't need to.
He hasn't changed it from the first game of the tournament.
Same tactics.
He's kept it throughout this whole tournament. So I think Southgate will match up.
You reckon he'll go for a 4-3-3? So kind of the same team as yesterday then?
Yeah.
Would you do anything differently in that team? Changing personnel, yeah.
Not really. Maybe in midfield, just to get more of a handle on things in midfield.
Because I mean, you got Rice and Phillips, and I feel like that's a pretty good type of player to have
ahead of them. I'd play, I don't know, maybe a Foden or Grealish or even a Henderson.
Go for a midfield free of like defensive midfielders, basically.
Yeah.
Even that as well, that would be like a complete nullified midfield to nullify Jorginho, Verratti and Barella in that midfield as well. So I kind of get why you would do that. For me,
like we said before, the game on Sunday comes down to who wins in midfield.
I see that happening as well. But with Mason Mount, you just have his work rate. You see his dedication yesterday against Denmark. And even though he hasn't scored or really assisted or done much attacking-wise, defensively, he's done very well. It's just he has that in his locker to do it from both ways as well. So that's kind of what I see about why Gareth Southgate picks Mason Mount, because Mason Mount can give you that attacking opportunity. And for me,
He
Raheem
probably will.
Sterling.
He probably will start.
You probably will go for Mason Mount. I get what you mean, but you would rather have like a Grealish or a Saka to kind of dictate more from our side as well.
Yeah.
But with Mason Mount, for me, I thought you should have taken that free kick, because Raheem Sterling, I've never really seen him take a free kick and score. Mason Mount's a free kick taker, so I thought it would have been the right one to have gone for in that team as well. But it's just the fact that with Italy, their performance against Spain for me was probably the least impressive I've seen them in this tournament. And for an England fan, that's a good thing, because we saw where the weaknesses were. We saw what we could actually go against in this tournament firsthand, and we could actually see how the likes of Chiellini and Bonucci deal with having like a false nine playing against them. And all tournament, everyone have said to Harry Kane, maybe just stay in the box, maybe just be at number 9, but it's still coming back and dropping into midfield a bit more, which is great, because he actually can play those through passes through to Saka and Sterling, which we have seen and which has resulted in goals and glory for England as well. So that's kind of how I see it. But I want to throw a big one out there. I want to see Jadon Sancho start against Emerson. I think one-on-one attacking wise, Saka's great, but I think Jadon Sancho in this tournament, we haven't seen the best of him. It would be nice to see him against Emerson.
Probably say the same, but I've got a feeling that he's going to start with Saka again.
Saka's really good defensively as well. It's the fact that he does the work back, going back and tracking back. And yesterday when we saw it as well, it dropped to a 4-4-2 when we were defending. So I know we were playing against like a 3-5-2. There's like a 4-4-2 with Saka going right and Mount going left, where Sterling and Kane were just staying up against the 3 centre-backs as well.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I see it. But with Jadon Sancho, he gives you that X factor. He can take people on one-on-one a bit better as well. And he can cut inside, go outside as well. And I think against someone like Emerson, who is really good athletically and really good pace-wise as well, someone that as a defensive left-back is better in the back 3 as opposed to being in the back 2. Sorry, back 2, but like a normal fullback basically. So he can get between the lines of Sancho, can get between the lines of Emerson and Chiellini, in my opinion as well. That's kind of how I see it, but it's just however we go going forward as well. I want to see England go at it. I do want to see us play that 5-2-3, but I do want to see us playing with Trippier, Shaw on the wing backs as well, because I reckon having that width against them, not really matching them, but kind of nullifying their attack whilst breaking against them on the counter will work well, because that's how I think Italy will go against us. I think they'll try and break us on the counter, and I reckon they'll try and get us to open up a bit more. But if we have it closed, like Gareth Southgate has been doing, a closed defence, conceding only 1 goal this tournament, it's great, because I reckon England will kind of play into their hands if we play a 4-3-3 for me. I see Verratti, Jorginho dictating that midfield. I see in Phillips and Rice kind of being outplayed personally. That's how I see it. But if it's a 5-3-2, we have an extra man at the back, and we have an extra man that, like Kyle Walker, stepping into midfield if needs be, Harry Kane dropping back into midfield, Saka dropping back if needs be as well, which works. But how do you see it tactically between Mancini and Southgate? Do you see anything that Roberto Mancini will be looking at England in terms of their weaknesses if they go for a back 4 or back 5? How do you think Roberto Mancini will try and dominate England with his Italian side?
Controlling possession. That's what I think. Keeping the ball moving. I think that's how he can get at England as well.
It's because you have 2 of those players in that midfield. And Verratti, we've seen a bit more going forward as well, which is great for the tournament. And Jorginho's been the one sitting and kind of dictating the play, because, again, here's a play that no one really appreciates, because he doesn't do well defensively. He's not the best attacking wise. He's slow. He's not strong, but he dictates a football game. And I think that's what people in England need to kind of appreciate and understand, that it's not always about the stats and it's not always about the glory. It's about just literally just being there for your team and as a team player. And that penalty he scored against Spain.
Oh, that was something else.
Ridiculous. And he just sat the goalkeeper down, and the goalkeeper just applauded him straight away before the ball was in the back of the net. When we were there as well, we were just there like Italian fans were celebrating because we knew Jorginho was the last penalty taker, and he scored and he won it for them, which was crazy, absolutely crazy. But I don't see it going to penalties. I see it being 1 in 90 minutes. I see England winning. That's the England fan in me, but I'm obviously afraid of Italy. 2 best teams in the tournament by far for me. I don't see anyone else who's actually done well. Besides Switzerland, I would say. They're a really good underdog that we saw in this tournament. But that's kind of how I see it. I see England winning 90 minutes. I'm afraid of this Italian side, but I know Gareth Southgate and the England team aren't afraid of this Italian side. And that's the main thing for me. How do you see this game going, Adam?
I'm more pessimistic than you are.
Yeah, I don't mind you being pessimistic about it, but it's the Italians. What we're going to do? We haven't really beat them.
I want England to win, but inside me, it's like saying that Italy have been too strong this whole tournament, and I think they'll be too strong again on Sunday.
We don't see them changing anything. Roberto Mancini has nothing to change in this team.
Yeah.
England have that probability of changing the formation, changing the lineup to attack this Italian side and to defend differently against this Italian side as well. Roberto Mancini literally doesn't need to change anything at all. His players know. His players have that history with him as well. They have that set lineup, like you said, and it's a young team for both of these sides as well. Again, with the older heads in Chiellini, Bonucci on that side as well. But it's a young team, and it's a team that I believe will go far in this tournament. In the next couple of tournaments, Italy and England as well, respectively. But we're in the final.
Italy haven't lost a game in 35 games. That's what England have to deal with.
If anyone's going to beat them, it has to be England, and it has to be on Sunday. If it's not England on Sunday, then I'm not sure how we are going to ever recover from losing in a final like this, because it could rather be pandemonium across the United Kingdom, or basically England, I should say, or it could be heartbreak and despair.
Complete sadness.
It will be complete sadness or complete elation. And I want more of those scenes that we saw in London yesterday and around the country of people throwing their drinks in the air, celebrating, smiling, everyone messaging each other, calling each other after the game, and really celebrating the fact that England are in the final for the first time since 1966. That's insane. 1966. It's the first final we've seen in their lifetime. And people have always been doubting Gareth Southgate, the audacity to doubt the manager. One more game, and it's at Wembley, 65,000 fans. Most of them will be English. If the atmosphere is just like it was yesterday, I don't see us losing. I really don't see us losing. But it's just about if England can play the game, not the occasion, like they did against Scotland. Like that game against Scotland, they played the occasion and they just like succumbed to the fans. But no, those are my kind of closing messages. I just want to say, come on, England, we're gonna love you. We're gonna love you forever. I'll probably get like a kit of Raheem Sterling or whoever scores in the final if we win for like me and a couple of other people. I'll just treat them to a kit because memorabilia in it. I've seen my England rugby team win a World Cup final. I've seen my England cricket team win the World Cup final. I've seen Andy Murray win gold at the Olympics, and I've seen him win Wimbledon twice. I've seen the Great British Olympic team do amazing, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016. England football team, let's go. We want to see something. We want to smile. We want to make the nation smile. And that's kind of how I see it. Adam, do you have any closing messages for the England national team before we go?
I'll just say, come on, England. That's it.
It's coming home. It needs to come home. Please. Please just come home. I can't get tickets for this game for the life of me, but please just bring it home, England. Whatever happens, it's going to be a great game. To Rome. Just don't. It's not going to Rome. It's coming home. It's not going to Rome at all. Don't let go to Rome at all. But no, everyone, thanks for watching. GoPro Football will be out next week again. I'm going back to football tomorrow, so I can't wait for that. You're going to be seeing more of our Check It Out videos on YouTube. We've got this, obviously, as our new episode coming out. And after the Euros, we're going to be taking a bit of a break from podcasting, to be fair. We're going to take a bit of a break on just talking about it because we're going to go on our little holidays, our staycations away. So it'll be nice to take a break, relax, and recharge again for the upcoming seasons. You'll see me doing collabs with other podcasts, which will be great. But it's just the fact that it's been an exhausting season. We've had a long 13, 14 months of being in this pandemic, and hopefully England can bring us some joy come Sunday, and it will be great. But Adam, thanks for coming on the podcast. Thanks for Tuesday night, obviously, for joining me for the game. It was an amazing game, amazing atmosphere, worth every penny. And England versus Italy, Sunday, 8 p.m. GMT. It's going to be a great game. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thanks for the support. Take care. And obviously subscribe, follow, and share Friday Night Counter-Attack wherever you are. Take care and goodbye.